The Canvas of Shadows. The rain fell in heavy sheets against the window as Evelyn sat in her dimly lit attic, staring at the single canvas she had left. Her fingers trembled as they traced the edge of the brush, a mixture of anticipation and dread tightening in her chest. This painting would be different, she told herself. It had to be. Outside, the howling wind carried whispers through the cracks of the old house, and for a moment, she could almost believe they were voices, memories calling her back. Evelyn had always wanted to be an artist, but her family believed in practicality. Her father, a strict man who measured worth in hours worked and money earned, forbade her from wasting time on what he called foolish dreams. Her mother, though softer in her reprimands, reinforced his words with silent nods and disapproving sighs. But Evelyn had been born with colors in her soul, and no amount of disapproval could dull her passion. She worked in secret, stealing moments between chores, sketching in the margins of old newspapers, and painting on discarded scraps of wood. Then, on the night of her 18th birthday, something happened that changed everything. She had just returned from a late shift at the bookstore when she found a small package resting on her bed. There was no note, no sign of who had left it. With careful fingers, she unwrapped the delicate paper and gasped. Inside lay a pristine set of oil paints, each color more vibrant than the last. As she held them in her hands, a strange chill ran down her spine. She should have felt joy, but instead, a quiet unease settled over her. Who had given her this gift? And why did it feel so familiar, like an echo of a memory she couldn't quite grasp? Determined to uncover the mystery, Evelyn sought answers in the only place she knew, her paintings. She worked feverishly, each brushstroke guided by something beyond her understanding. As the days passed, a strange pattern emerged. Every night, she would dream of a woman cloaked in shadows, whispering to her in a voice that was both foreign and achingly familiar. Every morning, she would wake to find that she had painted the woman's face with haunting precision, though she had no memory of doing so. The first time she saw the woman's eyes staring back at her from the canvas, she screamed. There was something otherworldly about them, too knowing, too sorrowful. And yet, she felt an inexplicable connection, as though they shared a bond deeper than time itself. Was it possible she was painting someone from another life? Or was she simply losing her mind? Then came the night when the whispers turned into a voice. Evelyn, it called softly, sending shivers down her spine. She turned sharply, heart pounding. The room was empty, but the air was thick with something unseen. The candle on her desk flickered wildly, casting eerie shadows on the walls. And then, she saw it, the woman from her paintings standing in the corner, watching her with an intensity that made her breath hitch. "Who are you?" Evelyn whispered, her voice barely audible. The woman took a step closer, her form flickering like a candle in the wind. "You already know," she said, her voice like a melody from a forgotten dream. And then suddenly Evelyn did. Memories flooded her mind. Memories that weren't her own. A past life. A promise unfulfilled. A love that had been torn apart by fate itself. The woman was not a stranger. She was Evelyn, or rather, who Evelyn had once been. And in that moment, she understood that she had been given a second chance, not just to paint but to remember, to right the wrongs of a past life that had ended too soon. With renewed determination, Evelyn poured herself into her art, each stroke revealing more of the truth. She painted feverishly, capturing not only the woman's face, but the emotions she carried: love, loss, longing. And as she did, something incredible happened. The whispers faded, the shadows lifted, and the woman's presence began to wane, as if she had finally found peace. The night Evelyn completed her masterpiece, the house fell silent. She stepped back, breathless, staring at the final brushstroke. The woman in the painting no longer looked sorrowful. She looked free. A warm breeze rustled through the attic, carrying with it a sense of finality. Evelyn felt an inexplicable calm settle over her. The past had finally let her go. Years later, as she stood in a prestigious gallery, surrounded by admirers and critics alike, she traced the edge of her first masterpiece, the one that had started it all. The Canvas of Shadows, they called it, a work of art so hauntingly beautiful that it left an imprint on all who gazed upon it. But to Evelyn, it was more than just a painting. It was proof that dreams, no matter how impossible, had a way of coming true, and that some souls, no matter how lost, always found their way home. As she turned to leave, she caught a glimpse of something in the reflection of the gallery's window, a pair of knowing eyes, watching her with quiet pride before fading into the night.
Whispering echoes.